Hey everyone, Dave Putz here from JKP Holdings. Alongside me, as always, Mr. Nathan Turner. How are you?
Hello, hello.
We've connect for a few minutes today. It has been a crazy, crazy time. I gotta see if what I think we're going on here, guys. It's been a beginning of the year kind of glitches, so I think it's been fun. So Nathan, what was your holiday like, man? I'm gonna fix your vision as we talk because I see your camera's a little off here on my screen here. Go ahead. What was your weekend? What was your holiday like?
It was good. It was relaxing, slowed down a little bit, got to just hang out, do nothing, which was great. It was good.
Spend time with the family, spend time with the kids,
Yeah,
all that good
yeah.
stuff.
My parents are here. My brother's over on the other side of town, so we got to hang out with them a bunch. And yeah, it was fun. Just relaxed, went snowboarding a couple of times, and just slowed down. It was really nice.
Nice.
How about
So
you?
it so things have been good, man. I think, spend time with the kids over the holiday weekend, and just kind of did what we wanted to do. We'll make sure, uh, what we found was that when we slow down, you start learning about your family, right? It's
Yeah,
been craziness 2023, and it's been fun though.
yeah,
It's been a journey for us to connect with everyone. 2023 was such an awesome, different year than we've had in all this time. So it's been a journey. With that
yeah,
said, we're now in the new year, and for some reason, every new year we all want to set goals and have some missions and
yeah,
whatnot. And this year we want to do the same thing because setting goals is part of growing. It's part of what we do as investors and as humans. We need to grow. We need to, adapt and stuff like that.
yeah, yeah. Agreed.
Um, with that said, we also got to make sure that we do things with a goal set. I like what you said, DME. For those who don't know, right? Goal setting has to be something we measure. So
Yeah,
on today's call, we're going to talk about our goals for 2024, but also the top 10 tools that we find note investors use, as well as us, on an everyday, every month basis, and what works for our businesses. Will be different for you guys, maybe, but majority, this is what our key is.
yeah, and it's going to be interesting because I know we don't use the same tools necessarily.
Sure.
Some of them are the same, some of them are different. So I think this is going to be good for everyone listening in just to see different ideas, things that you can implement in your own business if you like. So I'm excited.
So hopefully we all get connected with you guys and we kind of make sure that you guys are around, and tune in for everything. If you have questions, please feel free to put it in the chat, put it into the comment section, whatever, and we'll do our best to answer anything we can for you guys.
Yeah.
So when we do this kind of stuff, we want to make sure that you guys get an idea of what works for you, doesn't always work for us, vice versa. But also, we all want to share our knowledge. We want to share what ticks for us, what you guys may be missing, which is fine, which is great. So
Yeah.
let's
People,
start
you can
there.
benefit from somebody else's experience. So hopefully other people will be able to benefit from our experience,
Yeah,
things we have done and things that we found that worked and things we found didn't work, that kind of thing.
yeah, absolutely. So let's start off with some of our top 10 tools, and then we'll get to our goal setting and make sure we're accountable to our goal setting. We encourage you guys who listen to us, make sure you call us out on stuff and ask us how we're doing with stuff, because we need that as much as you guys need that accountability partner.
Absolutely.
So let's start there. What would you say is probably your top tool or one of your top tools that you need every day when you're doing any kind of note investing in your space? What do you think your top, or one of your top items is that you couldn't do your business without?
I've given this a bunch of thought, and there are a lot of things that I use every day, or at least several times a week. But I think, if I break it down and I think about the thing that I use the very most often, it's the internet. It's just the technology of having the internet and a
That's
computer available.
boring,
I
right? But it's
know, I know, it doesn't
essential.
sound like a lot, but I remember having this conversation with my kids. I don't remember how many years ago. And just the internet is what makes it possible for me to do what I do, the way that I do it. You go back and talk to Tom Henderson or something, and he'll talk about these books that they would get, and they would have to rifle through these books about loans that were available and things. And now I get sent a spreadsheet over the internet, and I can go and look at it, and I can analyze it right from home. I don't have to go anywhere. I don't have to do anything. At most, I might have to pick up the phone and say, "Hey, can you send me something?" But that's it. And so I know it sounds super basic and it's kind of boring, but it's essential. It's one of those things that I simply cannot do without. It's a really big deal.
So I see a comment that there's some choppy with the audio. Hopefully it got fixed. So I apologize if it didn't. If so, I'll keep working on this end. For me, we've said this a million times in space, is really kind of a network, right? Yeah. Our network is essential in our space right now.
Yeah.
I could not at all live without who I connect with on an everyday basis. The fact that this community is available for me to really kind of grow, learn, share, make mistakes. I mean, we have people who are beginners telling us something we didn't realize. And that's okay. We love that stuff because you never know where the information will come from or what experience that someone else may have.
Yeah, I mean, you and I probably talk at least once a week. But then I'm talking to realtors, I'm talking to attorneys, I'm talking to other note investors, I'm talking to, people that have done this longer than I have and learning what I can from them. So that's a good one. And again, it's essential. This is not a one-man show. You can't just decide one day you're going to do notes and do it all by yourself. There is a network and you have to be tapped into it. So that's a good one.
Yeah. So, our network doesn't incorporate only attorneys, right? It doesn't incorporate only servicers, which we'll get to, right? But it is key for us to grow as people and all that stuff. So what's your next best tool that you use on a daily basis to kind of get things working?
For me, I would have to say my next top tool that I use is my financial calculator. I use it constantly, and it's a tool that I didn't even know existed 15 years ago. I'd never even heard of a financial calculator. And then I was introduced to it, and now I use it, I think, every day, multiple times a day, often.
Wow. Amazing, right? Something we barely ever talked about when we first got started is become something we need, essential. Never taught in high school, none of that kind of stuff happens, right? But it's essential. And they just did a blog article about financial calculator and the problems with it, right?
Yeah.
Because what we found is that most investors use a financial calculator, which there's nothing wrong with the financial calculator, except for if the note goes default.
Right.
If that default happens, there's nothing you can do about the situation. And the financial calculator doesn't count into that because it doesn't know that. It counts a bond or a string of payments and gives you a return.
Yeah.
If the payments stop, foreclosure happens, that's outside the financial calculator's ability to figure out. So I had a whole big blog about this, that it comes up to a point, and I'm sure you guys all know we're running a class next week on Tuesday where we're going to be teaching how to build a calculator, a non-performing calculator that takes into things such as foreclosure timeframes for every state, which is different, the cost for foreclosure, statute of limitations, debt license, all that stuff is in our advanced class that we'll be holding next week. And the financial calculator is amazing because if anyone's ever tried diving into what the formula is, good luck.
Yeah. Yeah, it's certainly not manually. I mean, you need some kind of computing power behind it. People will ask me all the time, like, what would you pay for this? And I honestly, I cannot tell you off the top of my head. I have to plug in the numbers, and I've done this hundreds of times, but I couldn't just come up with a number. Even with all the times that I've calculated and run numbers and things, I still couldn't just come up with a number. I have to plug in the numbers because I'm surprised constantly where if I was to try to do it off the top of my head, I would come up with a number and then I plug it into the calculator and I go, oh, wow, I was way off. It's something totally different than what I thought it would be. Okay.
Yeah.
So I've learned that lesson. Just I go back to that constantly. And I use it.
And we've run to new investors who are learning about notes and they say, well, I buy performing notes, so I use my financial calculator, and you can be awesome at it, which I encourage you guys to learn. It's not about knocking it, but the problem with it is it only calculates performing assets. That's all it does.
Yeah.
Cindy made a comment that the 10 BII is her favorite best friend. I agree with you. It's, one of the ninth wonder of the world, I want to call it, right?
Yeah.
But I think for me is understanding that piece, that we want to understand the fact that financial calculator has limitations.
It does.
And if you can only do something, someone made a post earlier today on, I think your Facebook group was, what percentage of UPB and what percentage, it depends on the note numbers, and that financial calculator helps you solve that problem.